off my father-in-law from work, headed back to the house, and he dropped a concept on me I'd never even thought about before. You know, my father-in-law, he's Filipino, so he don't speak you know, he speaks pretty good English. Most of the men, most of the Filipino men, they don't speak English very well. He speaks pretty good. He tries really hard too. So he dropped a concept on me I never even thought about. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm out of that element. But he said he was talking about. I don't even remember how we got on this subject. Now I come to think of it. But anyway, he dropped a term on me I never even heard before. He said ninja cop. Yeah, right. So I'm like, ninja cop? I said, what's that? He said, recycle drugs. I said, do what? He said, recycle drugs. I said, wait, you mean this cat, he's a cop, and he's picking up the leftover drugs and reselling them? I mean, like the parts of the drug that the dude didn't use. He's like, yes. It's like, wow, man, you got to be kidding me. There's some dude running around behind people, picking up the residue and everything else and reselling that stuff, dude. Ninja cop. I imagine it happens over here in the States too. I just, you know, I'm not in that type of element, so I guess it's happening. I don't know. Anyway, that's your phrase for today. Ninja cop. Of course, over in the Philippines, there's crooked cops everywhere. Crooked cops over here in the U.S. There's crooked cops. I mean, every place you mention, there's crooked cops. I don't care what anybody tells you. You know, I back the blue, but some of them dudes is crooked. They're a sample of society. There's going to be crooked cops. The more immoral society is, there's going to be some crooked cops. Well, anyway, before I get off on a tangent, in the Philippines, it's real easy to become dirty over there in the Philippines, because you've got, just like over here in the U.S., if you're a cop, you know where the drugs are at. No different in the Philippines. They know where the drugs are at. Most of the drugs in the Philippines come from China, though. Chinese are making these drugs. A lot of the drugs there in the U.S. are Chinese made too. Like that K2 spice, whatever you want to call it, is made in China. So over there in the Philippines, you know, they don't. It's, you know, well, it's a third world country for one thing. So the temptation to be crooked over there is great. Some might say it's greater than it is here in the U.S. I don't know. I ain't never been a cop. I couldn't tell you. You know, cops' wages, they don't get paid nearly what they ought to be paid. But so the Filipino cop, he already knows where to find the stuff. So all he has to do is just go find somebody that just bought some, go shake them down, get their dope, and then he can go resell it. Or he can take it back to that supplier buy it back at a discounted price and resell it. That way both of them make some money. And if the cop's working for the supplier, a new supplier comes into town, trying to undercut the supplier that was there originally. The cop goes in and busts a new supplier. So the cop has got a pretty good position. Oh, well, good's probably not the right word. An advantageous position, I guess would probably be the right word. Anyway, father-in-law threw me for a loop today, man. He pulled out Ninja Cop. And I was like, what? Ninja Cop? First I thought maybe it was a cop that knew karate or something. Anyway, that's some wild stuff. Just heard that I don't know why in the world this stuff happens. Who in the right mind does this? Oh, okay. Sorry I had to let that out before I told you what it's all about. Apparently, there are 50 nuclear bombs holed up at an airport in Turkey. 50 nuclear bombs in Turkey. Who in the right mind put 50 nuclear bombs in Turkey? That is outrageous. Those people are crazy. 50 nuclear bombs. And right now, Turkey is in the middle of killing all the Kurds that they can find. Killing all the they shelled I think we had a bunch of troops over in a cement factory, if I remember that right, and they were shelling that cement factory. They knew they were in there. Don't be playing. And boy, that burned me up, dude. That burned me up because they didn't even fire back because their rules of engagement said that they cannot retaliate. Yeah. So I'd like to know whoever was that is in charge of their rules of engagement. I'd like to stick him in that cement factory for about 5 days. Probably wouldn't last 5 days. Anyway, Turkey's crazy, okay? They're trying to. They call it. I don't know, securing Syria, I guess. Like they're being Syria's buddy or something. Yeah, whatever. We know Syria is right there next to Israel. So I imagine Israel's really nervous right now. Of course, they don't need to be nervous. I mean, God's going to defend them. And God's not going to let them be destroyed. But 50 nuclear warheads or bombs, 50 nuclear bombs in Turkey. This is what's hanging in the lurch right now. This is the position that we've put ourselves in. Oh, they're part of NATO. Let's give them some nuclear weapons. I don't care what their ideology is. You racist. You Islamophobic. I ain't Islamophobic. I ain't scared of not one of them folks, yo. Anyway, so yeah, 50 nuclear bombs. That's where we're at. We got 50 nuclear bombs at the airport in Turkey, and Turkey ain't letting them out of there. So guess what Turkey wants to do with those 50 nuclear bombs? I'll give you two choices, and the first one don't count. I don't know what else to tell you. This is a nutty world, yo. I'd like to find out who decided it was okay to give them 50 nuclear bombs. Stick them in that airport. Saw something new on Facebook today. Apparently Facebook is getting into the news business. That's scary. Facebook, who wants to shut down conservative thought, wants to become a news service. Says something like they're going for those who qualify, which I think you have to be like a journalist. There's some other qualifications, but one of them is being a journalist. They're going to give you grants. They'll give you some, I don't know how much it'll be, it's some kind of grant money for you to do probably the news their way, if I had to take my guess. Which I imagine is going to have a whole lot of, don't assume my gender BS all up in it. And everybody's a racist. The white man is the reason for all the trouble in the world. All that bull. Check your masculinity at the door. Antifa is the new oh man, I just don't know, dude. I'm ready for the Lord to come back. It is getting nuts, but you know what? It's gonna get nuttier. It is gonna get nuttier. And I'm all about turning the other cheek, but after two, I run out of cheeks. Since there's no standing order after those two cheeks are done, after I've turned both of them, used to gotta handle stuff on my own, huh? There's a verse in there where Jesus told them to sell their cloak, buy a sword, buy two, something like that. You don't hear much about that. It's in there though. I'm all about turning the other cheek and all that stuff. But I ain't all about letting somebody run over me. And I don't think Jesus is either. Jesus did what he did to be so that we would have a chance to be saved, go to heaven. When he comes back, he's coming back to kick some tail. Put it nicely. I wish I remember what chapter and verse it was, but whoo, something about I tread the winepress alone, and his garments are covered in blood, and yeah, he's coming back to clean house, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm no lover of death or anything like that. I just had enough. I've had enough. So that's it. That's the excuse me. Oh wow. Woo! That stuff is strong. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. Don't forget your phrase. No, I'm not gonna have a phrase of the day or anything, but Ninja Cop. They will recycle your stuff and resell it. Woo, people are trifling, boy.